You've heard it before. You should be grateful you even have a job. If your boss has ever said something like that to you, this video is for you. 10 signs. No generic advice. No self-help fluff. Real tactics happening in real workplaces every single day. If you recognize 3 or more of these, you are being managed by fear. Let's get into it. Number 1 is the ambiguity trap. Your boss says just make it look professional or just use your best judgment. Sounds like trust. It is a setup. If he gave you precise instructions, you could actually succeed, and succeeding would give you confidence and leverage and independence, and that is the last thing a toxic boss wants. Do to have. So he keeps everything foggy, and every time you ask for something more concrete, he responds with nothing useful just to make you feel like you should already know. You spend days working on something trying to read the mind of someone who moves the target on purpose. And when you deliver it, the hit comes right on schedule. He tells the room that this was not what he had in mind and that you were not thinking strategically enough. You start over with even less clarity than before. Over time, this destroys your ability to make decisions outside of work too. You get home and you cannot choose what to eat for dinner because your brain is completely fried from trying to solve a problem that was never designed to have a solution. The fix is simple. After every assignment, send a short email summarizing exactly what you understood the task to be. Put the target in writing before you start swinging. If he moves it, you will have proof, and if he does not, you will finally have ground to stand on. Number 2 is memory gaslighting, and this one goes after your grip on reality itself. Your boss says, "I never said that." You know he did. He told you Monday to put everything into the main project, and by Wednesday he is standing at your desk asking why you let everything else fall through the cracks. When you bring up the original conversation, he looks at you with that practiced concern and suggests you must have gotten confused. This is not poor communication. This is psychological warfare designed to make sure you never have solid footing when you try to defend yourself. You end up writing down every conversation and forwarding emails to your personal account just to have evidence that you are not losing your mind. And that paranoia bleeds into everything outside the office. You become someone who needs constant outside confirmation just to trust your own memory. Start doing the documentation on purpose and do it openly. A quick recap email after every meaningful conversation creates a paper trail that protects you and sends a quiet message that you are paying attention and keeping records. Number 3 is public humiliation dressed up as feedback. A real leader corrects in private and recognizes in public. A toxic boss flips that completely because the goal is not your improvement. The goal is territory. He waits for the Zoom call with the whole team on screen or the moment a client is sitting in the room to bring up some minor flaw in your work. He uses lines like, "I am bringing this up so nobody else makes this basic mistake," and strips your dignity in front of the people you work alongside every single day. Your brain processes that kind of public rejection the same way it processes physical pain. Your coworkers go completely silent, not because they agree, but because they feel that relief of not being the one in the crosshairs today. You drive home feeling small and isolated, and that isolation is exactly what he counts on to make sure nobody ever feels safe enough to stand together and push back. When this happens, document it immediately. Write down the date, the setting, who was present, and exactly what was said. Patterns in writing are very different from patterns in memory. Number 4 is the hijacking of your personal time, and this one is death by 1,000 buzzes. To a toxic boss, your paycheck is not compensation for a defined number of hours. In his mind, it is ownership of your entire existence. He does not respect evenings or weekends because he genuinely does not believe you have any right to a life outside of what the company needs from you. It is the text at 11 at night framed as a quick question that is really just a leash check. If you do not respond the next morning, carries a punishing chill. If you do respond, you just handed over your last real boundary. And the damage of living this way is serious because your body never fully powers down, and that constant stress takes you away from the people who matter most. Pick a response window and communicate it once professionally. Boundaries only hold when you are the first one to hold them. Number 5 is the family trap, and this is probably the most emotionally manipulative move in the entire toxic boss playbook. When your boss says, "We are a family here," what he is actually saying is, "I need you to accept conditions you would never agree to in a real, professional contract." They use that word to make you feel guilty for asking for what is already yours, whether that is a day off or simply leaving at the time you were hired to leave. The moment you try to set any limit, they say you are not a team player or that you are letting everyone down at a critical moment. Over time, this manufactures a trauma bond where you start genuinely prioritizing a stranger's deadlines over your own family at home, and you carry this irrational guilt for wanting a life that belongs to you. You become a quiet martyr for a company that would have your position posted before your exit interview is even finished. Families do not have HR departments. A job is a contract and nothing more. Number 6 is credit theft, and this one slowly kills something fundamental inside you. Your boss walks into the leadership meeting and says, "I put this together," or "I came up with this approach," while you sit in the same room watching in complete silence. Your name never appears in the congratulations emails from upper management, but it surfaces immediately the second something goes wrong. The wins go on his shelf. The losses land in your lap. This destroys whatever healthy ambition you had left. You stop bringing new ideas because you already know where they end up. You start feeling invisible in a way that hollows out your professional identity until you are just a hidden engine making everything run while someone else collects the credit and the bonus in the title. Stop delivering ideas verbally. Put everything in writing, with your name attached to it. A shared document with a timestamp is not paranoia. It is authorship, and authorship is the only thing that is truly yours. Number 7 is information hoarding used as a control mechanism. Your boss tells you that you do not need to be in that meeting, except that meeting just completely changed the direction of your project and nobody told you. You find out 2 weeks later from someone in a different department who mentioned it in passing. You show up to a conversation with senior management looking completely out of the loop, and that is not an accident. Keeping you uninformed keeps you dependent on him for context and keeps him looking indispensable in every room that matters. Knowledge is power, and a toxic boss locks up every key piece of it to make sure nobody beneath him can operate with real independence. Ask directly and consistently for updates that affect your work and frame it around delivering better results. Make it professionally uncomfortable to justify keeping you out of the loop. Number 8 is micromanagement, powered by insecurity. Your boss wants to know why you were away from your desk for a few minutes or why an email sat unanswered longer than he liked. He does not manage outcomes. He manages your physical presence and your every movement throughout the day. This obsessive need for control has nothing to do with performance. It is about his psychological need to feel like he owns your time. It kills every creative instinct you have left and turns the entire work environment into a surveillance state where your brain stops solving problems and just focuses on not doing anything that might attract his attention. You lose your autonomy and carry this daily humiliation of being watched and second-guessed on tasks you have been doing successfully for years. End every day with a 3-line log. What I shipped. What is blocked? What is next? Send it weekly. Your output becomes undeniable and his anxiety about your whereabouts becomes irrelevant. Number 9 is the systematic blocking of your growth, and this is the sign that does the most long-term damage to your sense of self. Your boss has become the personal ceiling of your career because he is genuinely terrified of losing your output or being outperformed by what you are actually capable of. So he keeps you in the same role for years with praise that sounds real but never converts into anything, while quietly killing every opportunity you have for a promotion or a new challenge outside of his reach. When something comes up, he says you are not quite ready yet, or that you are honestly just too valuable where you are right now. He may even go out of his way to manage a reputation with other leaders, just to make sure he does not lose the person quietly holding up his results. The feeling that you spent your best professional years feeding someone else's ego who had no real interest in your growth is one of the hardest things to sit with. Build relationships outside your direct chain right now. Let other people in the organization see what you actually produce. Your career cannot survive on one person's willingness to let you advance. Number 10 is when your boss moves into your head rent-free, and this is the sign that tells you things have crossed from difficult into genuinely harmful. The workday ends. You are home sitting at the dinner table with your family, and you cannot stop rehearsing arguments that will never happen out loud. You wake up at 2 in the morning with your heart already going because you are bracing for his mood before the alarm even goes off. Your whole personality shifts over time and you become more guarded, more worn down, more exhausted in a way that sleep does not fix. Because the wall between what you do for a living and who you actually are has been knocked down one bad day at a time. Create a hard stop at the end of every day. A walk. A ritual. Something that tells your nervous system the day is actually over and you are allowed to exist outside of it. And if number 10 sounds familiar, stay close, because next video, we are going after the 10 worst things toxic coworkers do quietly. That one hits just as hard. If you recognized yourself in 3 or more of these here this clearly, it is not your fault. You are not too sensitive and you are not the problem. You are having a completely normal reaction to a pattern of behavior that was never acceptable to begin with. No paycheck is worth your health or your sense of self at the end of the day. The first step out is putting a name on what you are living through and understanding that you deserve more than just surviving another week being managed by fear. Drop in the comments which one hit closest to home. A lot of people are reading that thread right now and realizing they are not alone in it. Share this with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe to Workplace Hell Stories because we are just getting started, one truth at a time.